Raider Jim, final thoughts as we wrap up this episode of the NFL Weekly.
Final thoughts. This is a little personal human interest thing that I'm going to throw out there. You probably, the majority of you, have never heard of, do not know the name Glen La Ferman. And Glen La Ferman was a renowned photographer of rock and roll. And I had the opportunity to meet Glenn, and we struck up a quick friendship back in January. And when I say struck up a friendship, it wasn't one of those, you had to talk with him for a few minutes and then, hey, nice to meet you, friend. No, it was when you get home from meeting him, and a couple weeks later, he gives you a call. And then a few weeks later, you guys have another phone call, and he's telling you, hey, you know what? We need to hook up. You need to come Hollywood so you can see all my work, because what I saw of it was just a touch. You name the artist, he has taken their picture. Anybody from Slash, Freddie Mercury, all the biggies. He's got all these classic portraits, and they are nothing but art. And unfortunately, I found out today that my buddy Glenn has passed away. Cancer. He lost his battle with cancer. He had the cancer when I met him, and his outlook was, to keep it clean. It was just basically like, well, what the F am I going to do? I'm trying everything I can. And, if it don't go away, it don't go away. I just hope I get enough time to do what I really want to do. He was in the middle of putting together a book, and I don't believe that he ever got it to completion. But Glen La Ferman, and it's L-A capital F-E-R-M-A-N. He's on Glen La Ferman at Verizon.net. You can still access all his works, but if you like rock and roll, and if you just like somebody who has captured the images, I would encourage everybody, most of all to the La Ferman family, and to my buddy Greg, God bless you, man, and keep snapping pictures. You got a real gallery to make once you get up there.
Amen. I was going to say, I think Ozzy might be waiting for him. Like, all right, I'm ready.
He had a great shot of Ozzy.
I think. Yeah, that's thoughts and prayers to the family. But incredible. That's Raider Jim, though, by the way, a little behind the scenes. That is Raider Jim. Raider Jim will make friends with everyone. He is he's a social butterfly. Not surprised by that at all. But yeah, it's unfortunate, but great that you got, the 9 months or so to be, to enjoy that friendship. First thing I want to kind of clean up a little bit. Last week, Alex Mortensen, huge shout out to the UAB Blazers. They take down Memphis. They were 21.5-point underdogs, and they win outright. Memphis was a team that possibly could be the group of five, or I don't even really know what we call it anymore, just the mid-majors if you're a basketball fan. The best of, they essentially, one team gets picked. Memphis got their bubble burst thanks to UAB. Shout out Alex Mortensen, fantastic. I have a feeling if he wants that job, that's probably his now. But my final thoughts, we kind of alluded to it throughout the podcast. Raider Jim definitely did. Obviously, we don't really talk baseball on the network anymore, but the World Series is set. And again, I hate the Dodgers, as Raider Jim said. I can't stand the Dodgers. It's one of the teams that it's probably my most hated team out there. That includes the Chiefs and the Cowboys as a sports fan. But to watch Shohei Ohtani Friday night, and it was great because I was able to watch it with my grandmother, who's also a big baseball fan, and she's great too because she would just be a great coach. Because every time one of our the Padres pitchers walks somebody, she goes, "Why didn't he just throw a strike? Like, put her in the dugout. Like, what? Why didn't we think of that?" Anyways, so it's funny because I'll tell her about Shohei Ohtani, and she always says, "Well, why don't the pitchers just hit then?" And it's like, well, yeah. I don't know, Grandma. I don't know. Anyways, but 6 shutout innings, 10 strikeouts to go along with 3 home runs, including one that was still might be in orbit. Again, you have to respect greatness. You have to tip your cap. Shohei Ohtani, as a baseball, if you're a baseball fan, you have to realize how lucky you are right now, that you get to see Shohei Ohtani. And as someone who has watched a lot of 1950s and 60s baseball, I really like Sandy Koufax and going back and watching a lot of his games. Those guys threw like 92 miles an hour. Like I might have been able to hit 310 if you dropped me back there. So, everyone's saying, oh, well, Babe Ruth was better. No, Babe Ruth was like 40% hot dogs and whiskey. So not the same. Shohei Ohtani, the greatest baseball player I've ever seen. He might be the greatest sportsman I've ever seen. And then finally, when it does come to the Dodgers, there's been a lot of talk about how much they spend and this and that. And you know what? It's not ideal. But I think as baseball fans, we're aiming our fire at the wrong direction. I think we need to aim it at the Pirates and the Rockies and the Marlins and the teams that are making hundreds of millions of dollars and then paying their entire roster the minimum. And then going, oh, well, look at what the Dodgers. Well, the Dodgers want to win. And you know what? The Dodgers already apparently made the money they gave Shohei, or eventually will. They've already made it back. So again, time to refocus our vitriol, and it's time. I'm not interested in a salary cap. I'm interested in a salary floor. I think the salary floor needs to come before the cap. And finally, one last thing to all my baseball fans out there: enjoy the World Series and enjoy next season, because we are not going to get a season in 2027. I'm not breaking news. Everyone has kind of accepted this. More than likely, we're losing at least half of the 2027 Major League Baseball season, probably all of it. So enjoy this. Enjoy the next season as well. And you know what? Maybe start dipping your toe into the Korean and the Japanese baseball leagues if you're able, because again, if you're a baseball fan, you're gonna, and as much as I love the Savannah Bananas, that's not gonna scratch my itch. So
I'll tell you what, I would say tune your TVs in to watch the Women's Pro Softball League.
Yeah, there you go.
And the Women's College Softball World Series got some good competitive ball out there. And if I may, to add on to your Shohei remarks, for those people who are like my age and watched it live happen, imagine that night when he became Mr. October. Reggie Jackson, one of my all-time baseball heroes. Imagine if that night he also took the mound and struck out 10 people.
Exactly.
That's boom. Mm-hmm. Mind blown.
Exactly. And again, he may be the most underrated player. And trust me, we're all saying how great he is. He still might be underrated because of how good he is at everything. It's incredible. And for the most part, unless he's a hell of a con man, he seems like a really, really good guy. I know
nice guy.
Yeah, I know the Ipe stuff, but again, I think if you dive deeper into it and, you get beyond the memery, you realize, oh, that's actually a sad story. But anyways, with that being said, thank you all so much for listening to this episode of the NFL Weekly presented by the First Off the Bench podcast network. Everyone comes off the bench. We are First. It is time for you all to go wash your hands and stop hating everybody. Talk to you all very soon. Take care.
Peace out.